We are live. This is the NBA Rundown, and I am extra excited today because I brought in one of my favorite people in the sports gambling space, and that's my guy, Dutch Boy Fresh, the host of Medicate Monday. And you might also know him from the great work he does with our guys Wham, Ian, and Ski Profit. Dutch, I don't think we've done a show together since I jumped on one of your live shows about a year ago. I've been busy in the evenings lately, but we get to do a chance to do a show today. How you been, man?
Good to be back with you, spread Astaire. The NBA is a hell of a drug.
It
And
is.
you're looking at the plug. Yeah, man. It's very good to be back with you, my guy. Yeah, it's been a while since we broke bread, but it's always a good time. Hope we get Tyler in here soon. It was a good time when we broke down. Me, you, and Tyler, I believe, Wham, we did some NFL, before.
Yeah.
It was a good time. But, the association, man, it's a beautiful thing. Always got to worry about fading the fugaziness, though, with this NBA. So got a nice card. Kind of know pretty much who's in, who's out for the most part. It's nice. Got a couple plays. Did the test this morning. Gave out a couple looks. And ready to go over this. Added a couple as well. And I got a prop that is pretty appealing to me as well. So I'm excited to break down the card with you, my guy.
Yeah, I'll be excited too, and get those in. And we've got a little more news since you did your show this morning, as that Boston lineup kind of finalized for us, and we were pretty sure Toronto was going to be bereft of their starters, but that's been made official. But before we start, let me just talk about your general thoughts in the association, let's start with the East. Boston is the clear-cut favorite, but a lot of people don't trust this team to get it done, right? And I go back to what was the game we had Boston about a week ago when they played the Cavaliers, right? And they always come down to those Tatum mid-range ISO shots, and they seem to fall at like a 30% clip. I worry about Boston's ability to win here in close games. Who do you think comes out of the East? I think that, Boston's the rightful favorite, but from a betting perspective, I'm looking for some other teams. Who do you like?
It's tough because I think the Cavaliers, when healthy, have a really good starting five. I think they have a really good six-man in Levert. We know that they play for bigger staff, but it's like, is Donovan Mitchell really bought in? He looked great to start. Now he's just MIA every goddamn other game. Been out for a little while now, especially since All-Star break. But I do think the Cavs can really compete. Now the Knickerbockers, we could talk about them, but without Julius Randle and without OG, it's kind of like a forgotten thing. They come back, I think they'll be tough. Obviously with Jalen Brunson, they got a finisher, so I think a 7-game series against either one of those two teams will be tough. But I still would favor Boston over either one of them. Boston to me is the best thing going in the East, and really it just when they run into Denver is really the only is when I feel like they have trouble, obviously. And it comes down to you mentioned about Jason Tatum, like they don't know who's the alpha. They still haven't figured it out yet. It's got to be JT, but he hasn't really stepped down. He's kind of got like that KD persona. It's JB, it's JT. I mean, Derek White has the goddamn ball an awful lot, and he's had a productive season. And then you add Drew Holiday to it. But at the end of the day, I don't think nobody beats Boston in a 7-game series. I like Milwaukee, but I think they're flawed and not going to take advantage of Boston's flawness. Because I think Brook Lopez is kind of lost a step, bro. I don't know. Like I watched him play yesterday against Zubac, and Zubac just ate him up. I mean, we're talking about this guy was like runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. Zubac it was barbecue chicken last night. I believe he was 9 of 10 from the field, 18 points. It didn't even look like Brook could even have a chance to stop Zubac. So the defense from Milwaukee at the end of the day will not beat Boston in the 7-game series, I do not believe. So it's Boston or nothing for me, spread.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting. To echo your Milwaukee thoughts, I agree because I've been Team Milwaukee, and I love Giannis as probably the best player in the league until Jokic's recent emergence. But, that 2020 season, I was pounding the drum for Giannis. But they can't defend like they used to without Holiday. And you're right about Brook Lopez. And you know who it reminds me of? Do you remember how important Marc Gasol was to the 2019 Raptors championship?
Oh, yeah.
And 2 years later, he's out of the league.
And it's like, and I was a big Marc Gasol guy. I love,
Yeah.
and then it's like he just fell off a cliff, right?
Yeah. I think you're getting that same thing with Brook.
Yeah. I mean, defensively, offensively, he just looks a step slow on everything. And when you're already a defensive team that doesn't really have the guys, and he's supposed to be kind of the anchor of it, I mean, it's affecting the whole team. I love Dame time. I love the closer. The Bucks, I believe, are 1 year away. They'll make the moves in the offseason. And as long as they keep Dame time and Giannis are going to be a beautiful thing here in the next couple of years. I just don't believe it's this year. They need to make a couple of changes to that roster. They need to let Middleton go. They don't need Middleton. I believe they could get some assets for him. And so Milwaukee, I would love to say Milwaukee, but the eye test tells me they can't compete with Boston for 7-game series.
Out west, I believe it's a different story. I believe that the Celtics are vulnerable, but I think the Nuggets are only vulnerable by injury. As good as Los Angeles Lakers, and I think they match up well, as good as they've looked since the All-Star break, it's still tough for me to see anyone but Denver coming out of the West unless we lose Jamal Murray or KCP or one of those important pieces.
Yeah, from that aspect, I'm with you there. I mean, I think the Lakers don't have the shooters. I really don't. I mean, if D'Lo's going to fucking go for 30, okay. But, I mean, with AD and LBJ, it's just too much on their shoulders. They do not have the wings. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Caldwell Pope, they just outplay him. I mean, they really just – it's just too much for them. They have Aaron Gordon that can really give LeBron fits. A Joker continues to just be big brother, little brother type shit against AD. So I can't put anyone past Denver. Obviously, the mile high, having that the altitude as a home court advantage is big, and they continue to win. They handle business at the house. So yeah, I lean Denver. I don't really put anyone in front of Denver. Phoenix was a team that I thought could, if they made the right moves and went and got Malcolm Brogdon. They needed to make the moves. They didn't make the moves that I thought they needed to do to compete for the NBA championship. So yeah, I don't see anyone in the West standing in front. Now I will say this. Golden State, I think Golden State can give them a series. If Clay plays the way he's capable of, if Steph comes back from this ankle injury, they're deep, man. And Kuminga has stepped up. This kid Pod is nice. They're a little light when it comes to the bigs, so obviously Joker will have his way. And we've seen Denver go to Golden State recently when Golden State was playing their best basketball and just smack them, right, in that second half very recently. So I do think the Warriors are a super bet on team when we get Steph back, though. I do think that.
I really like Golden State with both CP and Clay coming off the bench.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love. You have Klay Thompson and CP3 coming off the bench. It doesn't get much better than that. And then you add Moody, a couple other guys like Gary Payton the second. I mean, they're nice, bro. They're really deep. And keep in mind, unfortunately, due to what happened in Golden State with the coaching issue, they literally had 2 All-Star breaks. So they're going to be a fresh team now. Steph with the ankle, hopefully he comes back ready to cook. And watch out for the Warriors, man.
All right, well, let's dive right into tonight. The Charlotte Hornets are plus 4.5 in Detroit, taking on the Pistons. Total's 217.5. Dutch, I don't know off the top of my head, but this might be the most that the Pistons have laid all year.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy,
kind
of
right? Wild to see them as favorites, especially against a team, Charlotte, that we had a nice little run backing right after the Grant Williams trade. But it feels like they've just kind of regressed back to the team that they are here. How are you approaching this one? I had a edge to the under when I ran my numbers this morning, so I jumped in on that. I see that when I'm looking to the under, Charlotte's gone 14-18 on the road this year to the under, or 18 unders to 14, 16 to 14 at home for the Pistons. Although this seems like a low total, Charlotte's only averaged 98 points per game over their last 8 games. I like the total better than the side. I like the Pistons, but I'm not ready to lay 4.5 with them. How are you approaching this one?
Yeah, man. This one from a side perspective, clear backwood. I couldn't touch either one of these teams, especially laying it with Detroit, but I understand what you're talking about. I mean, Charlotte just is literally a YMCA basketball team out there. They're just not good. Jabroni Clyde in the chat says Golden State won't make the playoffs. Well, Steph Curry don't come back, that might be the case. But if Steph Curry comes back, they'll make a run in the playoffs, in my opinion. So, we'll agree to disagree there, my guy. For this game, though, on the session this morning, Medicaid Mondays, my boy Razor Sharp Picks came through. He's won 5 straight weeks in a row with the Razor's Edge. It's a 4-unit play. He's going for 6 straight, and he gave out the under 217 in this game. A lot of numbers back it, a lot of trends back it. I mean, you got two bummy fucking teams, so I don't expect too many points. And Detroit 5-0 to the under their last 5 as a favorite. So I could only look under here, man. It's the Undertaker here. Two bum ass teams. Buckets are going to be hard to come by. So I would think the under. And the unders have been really, really on the profitable side since the All-Star break.
You talked about some of those trends. These teams have gone under the last 5 times they've played each other. Charlotte's gone under 7 of their last 8 road games. So trends are all pointing under here. And like I said, over their last 8, Charlotte failing to average 100 points per game. You know how crazy that is in this
disgusting.
NBA?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
All right. And we got Tyler joining us right now, so we can get his thoughts. Tyler, real quick, we were just finishing up on Charlotte and Detroit. My projections like the under. Dutch had like the under. That's going to be a play for us. But overall, your thoughts here on this game, and should we get involved in the side? Isn't it crazy to see Detroit laying 4.5?
No, not when Charlotte's played 3 games in 4 nights and they haven't been all that good recently. I mean, they play some good defense, but their offense is lacking. It's 2 guys, really, and the couple guys that they picked up at the deadline look like they're going to be out. Like Bryce McGowan plays a big part on this team now. He's going to be out. Trey Mann's going to be out.
Trey Mann is the one I think really hurts them and kind of solidified me.
I think Detroit wins the game and the game goes under. So I'm fine taking Detroit here. I like Duren over his rebounds too. He's played them 5 times, went over it 3 times. The 2 games he didn't, he played 21 and 22 minutes. The game this year, he didn't get it. He had foul trouble. He had 2 fouls in the first quarter, so they yanked him off the floor. Came back in the second quarter. He was on the floor for like a minute, got the 3rd foul, went right back to the bench. So he had 8 rebounds in that game, only playing 22 minutes. If he gets 30 plus here, he can grab like 15. So love that 12.5.
All right. Yeah, Jalen Duren, a guy who carried my fantasy leagues, but unfortunately just I got eliminated on DK a week ago when Victor went off, and then this week fell short. So close. I had one team in second place, one team in third, but in underdog, you need to win your whole pod at this point to advance. But sounds like we all like the under, and maybe Tyler will talk me into the -4.5. Tyler, I had this game projected at 5, so not a huge edge, but I had it 109-104 win for the Pistons. So I guess kind of echoing some of your sentiments and maybe some fatigue built in there, because I don't really add fatigue in when I'm doing the numbers, but maybe even a reason to bump down Charlotte even more. We talked about the Cavaliers a little bit, Dutch, to start the show, and now they're in an interesting spot here. They're catching 6.5 points at home to Phoenix, which makes you think, oh, this is an auto bet. I'm gonna take the Cavaliers.
Right.
But then we look at why, and it's because Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Max Strus, and Dean Wade are all out. Georges Niang steps into the starting lineup, the expected starting lineup there. And so that's really going to hurt this team's depth. Devin Booker expected to make his return tonight. Still missing a little bit of depth there, though, with Eric Gordon, Damian Lee, Nasir Little, and Josh Okogie still out here. So 2 teams really struggling with the injuries, but yet Phoenix has their ideal starting lineup in the game, while Cleveland does not. Dutch, let me start with you. Is 6.5 too much for the Phoenix Suns to be laying on the road?
Yeah, man, tough game here. Obviously no Devin Booker here. And you mentioned Cavaliers, man, in a back-to-back situation too. They beat up and then just got smacked around yesterday by the Brooklyn Nets, kind of quite surprisingly to me, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that was. You know what? Tyler and I had even talked about it, laying 7, and we ended up staying off it. But I thought the Cavaliers were going to win by double digits yesterday. We ended up not getting there.
Yeah, I took the first half. I had to go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's just Brooklyn hits their threes every couple games, and that was the game they hit their threes.
Yeah.
They always win the games when they hit their threes.
Yeah, 51% from the 3-point line, 18 threes. You know what I mean? Like it's disgusting yesterday, and it was from start to finish. Realistically, the game wasn't really close. As a 7-point dog, they smacked around by 20. So you'd expect the Cleveland team, who has won 13 out of last 17 games at home, to kind of bounce back here, as you said, right off the bat. Wow, look at this value against a suspect Phoenix team who's 1-5 against the number last 6. We've seen it with Phoenix. You just don't lay numbers like this, specifically on the road. But man, the Cavaliers are beat the shit 3-10 against the last 13 games. So a team that was playing some of the best basketball, was completely bet on, has literally just been a fade now for about 3 weeks here. So I can't go to the window with Cleveland. I really can't. I guess you could see value here, maybe first half bounce back spot, but too many injuries, back-to-back situation. Phoenix coming off that loss, I believe, or I don't know. They might have had a W here. I know they did lose to Boston. I like what I like here is actually, yeah, they obviously just coming off a loss to Boston. So you expect them to come out here. My guy Wham Bam dropped in the chat, dropped on the show this morning on the sesh. Bradley Beal over 17.5 points. I thought that was super light, gave a lot of good numbers to go with that. So I'm not mad at that look. But what I like is Grayson Allen. Little juicy right here, over 2.5 threes, minus 130. Shop around, maybe get a better number. Coming off an 0-4, performance here recently against Boston. Prior to that, this motherfucker had 16 threes in the last 2 games. So, he's gonna be out there in the corner. He's really nice from the corner, but all we really need is a couple shots to go down from Mr. Grayson Allen, the Dookie, the dirty motherfucker that he is. But we like him when he shoots them threes. And I mean, the guy is shooting, what is he shooting? He's shooting 47% from the perimeter. So we need 3. As I mentioned, coming off an 0-for-4 performance. Prior to that, had 16 in total in the 2 games. So I look for Grayson Allen to have a lot of wide open threes, as Brooklyn did yesterday, as we just talked about, 18 makes. So I like Grayson Allen over 2.5 threes. And I lean Cavaliers full game, but I can't get to the window.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same spot as you. I don't think I accounted for injuries correctly, but I have this around a 4.5 point Phoenix Suns win. However, I think I can account when you get 1 or 2 guys out, but when you get like 3 of the 5 starting lineup guys out, it's just, how do you do it, right? Like, I feel like I can accurately adjust if KD's out for the Suns, but I got the rest of the guys in. When you start to get 3 or 4 out, I think it's really hard to go off projections. Tyler, how are you approaching this game?
I think the Suns just kind of win it rather easily, but I agree. I can't click on them, minus 6.5 on the road. Mm-hmm. Cleveland's just beat up. They've played a ton of games recently. This is another fatigue spot. And Devin Booker's back. So he's going to man the point guard role. I know Beal will play some of it too, though. But love Booker over 5.5 assists in this spot. I think that's a good bet. Another 3-point bet. I like the Grayson Allen one that Dutch gave out. I love Royce O'Neal in this spot. His number's 1.5. I'll buy it up to 3 at plus 240. I think he could easily hit 3 to 4 here. Him and Grayson Allen are the guys that just stand in the corner. So you could easily see both those guys go over their threes prop in this one. And also like Nurkic double-double at even money. I feel like that should be like minus 150 at this point. So those are the 3 bets here. I'd probably leave the side alone in the end. Maybe like a performance double. Booker to score 25 and they win the game.
Yeah, I hate to be a coward and not pick sides here, but once again, the under seems to be.
I will say one
the
thing,
best
Fred.
way to approach this. Go ahead.
Our one game that you made this comment on, and it was a Cleveland game too. We talked about the projections. You were like, "How is Odd Sharks projecting Cleveland to beat Boston?"
And
we laughed about it, and then they won. Well, they're projecting them to beat Phoenix tonight.
Are they?
Yeah,
I didn't look at their projections.
I honestly think there's like right off the bat, I was like, wow, look at all this value on.
They are
the Cavs, but they're so beat up.
I thought the same thing. Dutch,
I don't think they adjust for injuries.
My second thought is this is the trap that everyone's gonna get after watching the Cavs do what they did to Boston, and everyone's gonna go, oh, they're gonna do it again. This gets bought down pretty far, and Phoenix just wipes the floor with them.
Right, and off a loss too. Phoenix off a loss, to Boston. So. Yeah, I'm off this one, but I like the props. I like that prop you gave out too, Royce.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the total, Phoenix has gone under in their last 5 games. To be fair, that's going to be for most teams because of this incredible stretch of unders that we're on. But we can ride the streak. They've gone under 5 of their last 6 games on the road, and they've gone under 10 of the last 13 games they played at home against Phoenix for the year. Both these teams trend to the under. Suns have 36 games go under, compared to 28 that have gone over. Cavaliers around the same. They've had 35 go under, 28 go under. However, the Cavaliers are an over team at home, 17 games going over at home. Phoenix have gone under 18 of their 29 road games. So there you have it here. And of course, Phoenix is rested. They've had the day off. Cavaliers come in on the second game of a back-to-back. And on the second game of a back-to-back, Cavaliers have gone under 6 times, over 5 times. So not really much of an edge there. Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks, Tyler, a team that we've had problems finding a handle on, going against another team that you absolutely despise, and I seem to hold them in higher regard than you do, and that's the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are catching 4 at home. This is the highest total on the board of 232. How do we approach this one, Tyler?
Yeah, I just got to make the joke that you hold the Bulls so high in regard because of the 90s. They're still like a top 5 team for spread. They always will be. But I think Dallas smashes them right here. Chicago's coming back off the road trip. We talk about fading them when their first game back. This is that little like stop home for a game, bounce out. They right back on the road after this. Dallas, I believe it's as an away favorite this year. Where's their number? 13-3 ATS this year, winning them games by an average of about 5 points. I don't think Chicago's going to be able to do anything outside of rebound.
They are. Like 81%.
Yeah, so I think Dallas just kind of names their number here, and they just blast this team. So not worried about Dallas's defensive lapse either, because outside of Kobe White, who scares me in Chicago, DeRozan's shooting mid-range shots. That ain't going to keep up with Luka.
Bro, that's the guy that scares you, though, because if the game is close, dude, he's so money in those half-court settings.
I don't think the game's going to be close, so I'm not worried about him.
Okay. Fair enough. Good answer. What do you think, Dutch?
Yeah, man. I love that. I love what I'm hearing from Tyler. I tweeted this out last night about 1 a.m. in the morning. I like this look. I'm surprised it went down. I got a 4.5 and went down to 4. I was like, what the fuck? I dropped another unit out on it, and I'm on the first half. I mean, he talked about the road trip first game back. It was a beautiful West Coast trip for these boys. I mean, it started off with a big win. You know, they beat Sacramento, they beat Utah, they beat Golden State, and then they go to LA and play a competitive game, cover first quarter, first half, and then barely don't cover the full game there against the Clippers. So you got the 5th game in 7 nights, first game back off a very, exhausting long West Coast road trip. Remember, all the way from the West Coast to Chicago. That's no joke. And like you said, the defensive lapse, the defense is a concern for Dallas, but these motherfuckers can't shoot. Chicago can't really shoot, bro. That's why I don't like this team like that, because they don't really got guys that could just stroke it from deep. I need guys that are shooters, and Chicago's not really it. Kobe White streaky as fucking, yes, he's nice, but he can go easily 2 for 13 from the 3-point line as well. So outside of Kobe White, I'm not really scared of anyone on that team from the perimeter. I know Caruso can hit an open J, but he's not really scaring me. So I think the Mavericks come in there and wrap it up, man. You know how they finally had 2 good games. A lot of people were on Miami against it, and you started this breakdown spread about having a tough read lately on Dallas. I've been kind of the same thing, so I stayed off the Miami game, even though I liked it, and I literally said on the show with Ski they will cover the 4.5, but I'm not betting it, And then of course they found a way to get out of handle business at the crib, and then handle business very easily against the Detroit Pistons. I think it's double digits as well against the Chicago Bulls tonight. -4 is good money. First half as well.
Yeah, and Tyler, you brought that up. One of the things we love this season, right? Fits. We want to fade a first game home after a 4-game or more road trip.
Yeah.
And it looks like we qualified here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one in right now, Tyler, and that's going to end up on our sheet.
Yeah, I don't mind. We talked about this play before, spread that winning at the end of every quarter on FanDuel. Dallas is 2-1 in this spot. Telling me they can't just run up a lead in the first quarter and never look back?
Yeah, I actually like that.
Yeah, so I like that on this game.
And you bet the first half as well, too, right, Dutch? Would you get it like 2.5?
Yeah, -2, bro. -2. -2 at Willie. It was 2.5 at most spots. You can get 2 at Willie like about 2 hours ago.
Is that our guy, William Hill?
Yeah, man.
All right. That's
Willie.
When I go to Tahoe and Reno, most of the books are William Hill, except for so Tahoe's pretty much all Will Hill. Reno's got some Caesars as well.
Yeah. But yeah, they're showing some love with that first half -2. I liked it. So I went back to the window. So I got 3 units on this game. I like it a lot. 2 on the full game. 4.
I remember the first time I went to Tahoe when I started seriously gambling, and I understood things, and this was probably 10 to 12 years ago. And I told my girlfriend at the time, I said, I got to go price shop, right? All 4 major books were William Hill.
Yeah.
It was like, We just walked around for no reason. They were
It's
all. The
starting to
good
get
thing
like
is
that
you
on the
can cash
strip
your
too, though.
ticket at anyone too.
At any one, that's a
Yeah.
good thing. But it's starting to get like that on the strip too. Like,
Strip has a lot of Caesars and MGM though, doesn't it?
yeah, but yeah, not Willie. I'm just referring, but like a lot of
Yeah.
all the, off the strip, a lot of the spots are Willie. But you're starting to see the same sports books in almost all the casinos now. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they're going to continue to take over.
Either you
Okay,
guys
so
see
we
Derek
Like
Jones
like
line?
right now, like right now, my bad. But right now, Circa is big. Circa Sportsbook is like they're building a brand new Circa Sportsbook inside of Silverton. If y'all know what, like that's a strip, a casino off the strip a little bit. So Circa is kind of taking over Vegas right now. Sportsbook.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And one thing we got to give Circuit credit for, right? They're pretty fair as far as not banning winners, and they don't overly juice their props and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, some of these props numbers are getting ridiculous. Minus 120 on both sides.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Did you have anything else on this one, Tyler?
Either you guys see Derek Jones props?
I do not, but I don't have bet online.
Slight revenge game here against a former team, in a matchup where he could just crush. They're gonna have to put Caruso on Luka. You gotta think Dosunmu guards Kyrie because they're not gonna leave Kobe White to do it. That just defaults to trying to hide Kobe White on Derek Jones.
We're gonna put him on a poster.
Hasn't Derek Jones been either getting like 11 minutes or 30 minutes a night?
I mean, yeah, it's somewhere in between there. I mean, if you want to pivot,
11 to 30. That's crazy.
No, it's weird. Like he was
It's
because
all
I
in the
follow, the
it's got to
local.
be matchup based spread. That's all it's got to be.
Yeah, but they were kind of complaining about the inconsistency of the rotations.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out. They got a better defense with him out there, but like they're really lacking shooting with him out there, especially if Tim Hardaway can't buy a bucket, which is he's got to be the most streakiest fucking guy going.
I know.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I'm
how
trying to
often do
think
you
of
see
old
getting 3 plus
streaky
3s
guys.
on him at plus 125?
Mm-hmm. He's Brick City, bro. He's been Brick City for a minute now.
All right, Tyler. Sometimes I downplay revenge spots, but I think it kind of applies here. When the Golden State Warriors lay 5 traveling to San Antonio, totals 226.5. What were the Warriors yesterday? 11-point favorites? I mean, they were double-digit favorites,
They're
right?
12.5 against this. Yeah,
And they lose straight up, if I remember. Honestly, I didn't have many eyes
2
on the
days
game.
ago,
I didn't
though.
bet it.
But yeah,
Now they travel to San Antonio to run it back. You got to think that they'll be focused here. Maybe last night woke them up a little bit. Let me check this injury report here. And Victor is going to play. Devin Vassell, game time decision. He means a lot to that team. And on the other side, I see Draymond Green and Moses Moody most likely to play, but we're still waiting on that officially. Tyler, the Warriors get a chance to exact some immediate revenge against the Spurs in San Antonio. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I don't think I could join you on the Warriors on this one spread. I mean, they've looked good, but San Antonio at the same time isn't just a bottom tier team as of right now. We talk about these 4-factor stats and we look at these in these matchups. Since the All-Star break on cleaning the glass, when they filter out all the heaves and all the garbage time, Golden State is 12th in point differential. Who's right behind them? San Antonio at 13. San Antonio is ranked 10th in offense, points per possession, and 7th in field goal percentage. They rank higher than Golden State in both of those. Golden State ranked 18th and 16th. Golden State has a slightly better defense right now. They rank 14th in points per possession and 17th in effective field goal percentage, to where San Antonio is 25th and 18th. But I just don't see the differences here to be laying the points. Victor's going to go out there and try and make a big game, a statement here. I think I just stay away from it.
All right. Well, to make some more cases for the Warriors, they're 12-3 ATS on their last 15 road games, and they're 20-9 against the spread on the road for the season. So it's kind of been the opposite of last year. Last year we bet them at home, faded them on the road. This year it's the opposite here. And then of course the immediate, they're 10-3 as a road favorite as well against the spread. Dutch, what do you like?
Yeah, man, I'm on the other side, man. I think it'll be town business, man. I really do. I believe the Warriors will come out and play and really put it on these boys. I think a lot of people are gonna like San Antonio here. Obviously just beating them as a 12.5-point dog, double digits. Warriors look a little bit beat up, but this is a deep basketball team. This is a very deep basketball team. I know no Steph, But they're just deep, man. CP3, I like him better off the bench, but he can come in and run the ship. I'm not mad at the 8.5 assists. He probably gets double digits here, coming off a 9-game assist. You got the bounce back factor though. I mean, come on, man. They just went to the Bay and beat them by double digits in the Bay. They're gonna go to San Antonio and handle business, I believe. San Antonio has lost to these boys 5 straight prior to the game on Saturday. San Antonio, man, they're playing better basketball. They covered 5 out of the last 6, so you can't overlook that. But this team is 7-21 at the crib, man. Come on now. You got a team that's 14-14 against the number at the house overall, and they haven't won back-to-back basketball games since January 26 and 27. So I don't see it happening tonight. I see the Warriors handling business. I don't really, this game does scare me a little bit, to be quite honest, but I went ahead and laid the 4 at -115. I'm looking for CP3 to share the ball. I'm looking for Kuminga to really play big. I mean, Kuminga's playing out of his fucking mind. He's clearly the second best player on this team. But the Warriors are 10 deep with or without Steph, to be quite honest with you. You got Moody. You got a nice little bench rotation. Wiggins coming off the bench as well now. I look for the Warriors to smack around the Spurs here in revenge mode. I got the -4 once again, -115.
Tyler, looks like we're going to disagree on the side. We might be able to agree here, though. It's hard to go against Victor when it comes to these block totals. What do you think about this prop, Tyler?
Yeah, depending on the juice you're getting on that 3, I'd bet the hell out of it because FanDuel has 4.5 -110.
Yeah, it's just wild what he's doing.
So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what odds you're getting on that 3, but yeah, if you're getting nice odds,
maybe if he wants to throw in a parlay at -200 and just know that
Yeah. I mean, if his 4.5's -110, his 3+ is going to be like -5,000.
I don't know about -5,000, but we'll see. All right, anything more on the Warriors and the Spurs? Dutch, we'll have to make sure to DM Tyler the pictures of the steak dinners that we'll be enjoying after the Warriors get this road cash tonight in this bounce back situation.
He's -500 to get 3 block spread.
Yeah, and then you add that with a little -197 on the Warriors money line, and you're about -130.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that juiced up on the blocks, but yeah, my boy liked that play this morning too. But good Lord, how you can give out -3.5 on this -250 at least, right?
All right, let's keep it moving. Wow, I don't really like this game. 15.5, huh? Toronto Raptors are now plus 15.5 in Denver, taking on the Nuggets. The total's 230. Well, you say, why are they -15.5? The Raptors aren't that bad. Well, I don't think anybody's playing. Scotty Barnes, well, we already knew that. He's out for the year, right? But Boucher, Podol, Quickly, Gary Trent out. Bruce Brown's 50-50. RJ Barrett's most likely going to play, joining Javon Freeman Liberty. Apologies, unaware of his game. Grady Dick gets a chance to make some run, but we're not in Kansas anymore. Oshae Abaji, a fine player, but I don't know how I feel about him going against the defending champions. And then Kelly Olynyk will be out there trying to match Jokic bucket for bucket. Tyler, they've essentially priced me out of this game. I just 15.5 is too much. But I usually like big points, but I can't even take the 15.5 here. I just kind of cross this one off the list. Do you think I'm missing something, Tyler?
No, I mean, I think Denver just kind of names their score. It all comes down to, do they want to win by 20 or do they want to win by 10, 5, whatever they want here in this spot. There ain't going to be a soul on that team that's going to be able to guard Jokic. Their center is going to be Olynyk out there tonight. So
yeah, that's bad.
Jokic names his stat line also. So I'd probably just bet the Jokic triple-double and win at +160. You get a little better juice adding those two together than just betting the triple-double at like +130. And I don't see him getting a triple-double and them losing this game outright. So
that's true. My concern is, have you ever seen those games where he just doesn't care?
But the thing about
he only takes 2 shots in the first half.
Yeah, but I only need 10 points.
Good point. Yeah.
So he's got those games where he just doesn't care, and he's gotten like 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 16 assists. So if you're worried that he doesn't care, maybe just bet his assist line because he's just going to do a lot of passing tonight.
Dutch, one thing we do as handicappers is we handicap our own performance, and I do know that one of my weaknesses is just refusing to lay these huge point spreads. Mm-hmm. What do you think of this one? My brain just kind of immediately just scratches it off the list and starts digging deeper into other games. But do you think I'm leaving money on the table by doing that?
Yeah, man, I think we're kind of in the same rotation on that one, bro. I'm not big on laying touchdown numbers in the NBA whatsoever. But yeah, people do it and aren't successful at times. I mean, they're favorite for a reason, right? Shout out to our guy Ramon Scott in the chat. I see you, my guy Jimi Hendrix. I see you, my dude. I'm not a big fan of this game though, and it's kind of I'm in the same boat as you, bro. So I think if you take it, you probably go Denver first quarter. I'm not a big first quarter better here. I know it's 4.5, but Denver's pretty money in that first quarter, man. A lot of my guys make an awful lot of money on that Denver first quarter. So I don't see how they just don't come out, smack these boys, and put the horses on the bench, and let Denver's B team take them out. But yeah, I don't like this game, man. And to me, it's Denver, nothing probably early.
Yeah, I mean the only two teams that I want to lay this amount with are the Celtics and the Thunder. And I hate to just
I love that first quarter look, just looking at these numbers. Denver at home this year, 23-9 ATS in the first quarter. Toronto on the road, 11-20-1 ATS in the first quarter. We know Denver's going to run their heavy rotation in the first quarter. I think Jokic plays like 12 minutes every first quarter, and then he sits the bench. So they should easily be up 6 or 7 points at the end of the first quarter. That winning at every quarter, I mean, I don't hate it. That winning at every quarter is minus 180 on FanDuel. I hate laying that juice, but that probably wins. I don't hate
got minus 5 on Bookmaker, Tyler, for that first quarter.
That's what you got, minus 5?
Yeah, at minus 113 too.
I mean, they probably cover that.
Yeah. It was 4.5. I mean, you probably shop around and find the 4.5.
I can't imagine people are ready to take Toronto first quarter, right? Because I think it's most people like us that like Denver here, but don't want to lay 15.5.
It's can you get like a Denver alt? Like what's like a Denver minus 9.5 in the first quarter, plus 210?
I can't. So I can't change first quarters on Bookmaker.
They could easily be up that.
Yeah.
Their team total in the first quarter is 30.5. That's probably also a winner.
Yeah, I don't have that either. I have over 57 as my first quarter total. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix has the minus 5 right now too. Okay, well, I'm fine staying away from that game. Tyler, the last game's kind of ugly too. The Boston Celtics are laying 12 against the Portland Trailblazers. Earlier today, they had everybody on the injury report, but it turns out it'll be Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis that will be missing, which means that Sam Hauser and Al Horford will slide in to the starting lineup. On the other side, Jeremy Grant, game time decision. I hate with the 12.5 number or 12 or whatever we have. I hate to say it, but I think Jeremy Grant actually matters. If I lay this with Boston, I don't want Grant in there. Other than that, Tyler, this is another one I didn't spend too much time on. If I were to lay the big number, I think I'd rather do it with the Celtics than the Nuggets, but I'm not necessarily super excited about this game. What do you think?
I mean, just to be completely honest here, my bet for these two games, outside of that Jokic triple-double is, I'm just going to pair both of these teams to be that winning at the end of every quarter, because that's going to put it at close to 2-1. And I'm getting a 16-point favorite and a 12-point favorite just to be up at the end of the first quarter and just run out the game from there. So
and it's money lines each way. You're not laying 4.5 or 5.
I'm laying no points. They just got to win at that point. I think Boston smashes them, though. Like, Portland's been they've been all right. They've covered a couple games. They've caught some really good matchups. Everyone's going to look back at that Boston matchup. They just blew it to Cleveland on the road. They laid points there. Everyone's going to want to go against them again. But do we really think Anthony Simons is going to do what Dean Wade did in that fourth quarter when they were down 20 and it looked like they weren't going to cover? And then he hits 6 threes, outscores Boston completely by himself in the rest of that game. I just don't see that happening here.
I mean, he did that against the Thunder.
They didn't win, though.
But he covered.
I mean, yeah, but I just don't see it happening here. Well, they also had the motivation in that Portland spot, remember? That was they had beat them 3 times, didn't want to get swept, played that game very close.
Yeah. Dutch, what do you think, man? This is another game I wasn't too excited about. Do you think I'm leaving money on the table?
So, yeah, you do have, Boston obviously, smacked around Phoenix, getting back to their winning ways here real recently after struggling to, lose 2 games. But honestly, man, I think it's a Boston spot here. I'm looking like 7's a lot first half, but It's pretty much the same damn thing that we just talked about. There's levels to this shit. With the Nuggets, they're on another level. Boston on another level. 9. I looked at this game. I was like, damn, 9.5. Like, that seems low. I should have went to the window. I should have went.
That was when the whole team was on the injury report, though.
Right.
At one point, they had all 5 starters on the injury report.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you like this game, if you want to bet this game, you have to bet this game. Is Boston first quarter, is most likely first half as well. So I think it's the same thing as in Denver.
And just to touch a little bit more on how Portland's done well against the spread, they were 2.5-point dogs against Toronto. They won that game outright. They were 6-point dogs to Houston. They got absolutely blasted in that game, 123-107. They lost to OKC by 8 as 13-point dogs, lost to Minnesota by 5 as 15-point dogs, and then they have 2 outright wins over Memphis. Those are the other 2 covers. So you covered a Memphis, barely got the OKC one. You kept the Minnesota game close, but if I do remember, spread, weren't there guys out in that game from Minnesota?
When Portland played them?
Yes. I think they sat a couple guys that night. And then you beat Toronto, who's in the dumps now trying to protect their draft pick. So I think Boston here, I think this number should be where the Denver number is. I think this should be 16. I think this is too light.
Well, let's see what I projected it at. I only had Boston by 11.
Yeah, that 9.5 was low.
Yeah, the 9.5 was 100% low, but you couldn't click it until you knew those guys.
You couldn't click it because you could have had like Sam
you
Hauser,
had
O'Shea Brissett,
Derek
Peyton
White,
Pritchard.
and Pritchard leading the way. So it's like,
yeah.
All right. Well, we have a shorter slate today, but we've made it through, and we found a couple winners. I've bet 3 games. I'm on the under and the Hornets, the Mavs -4, and I joined Dutch with the Warriors. But only 2 of those will be official because Tyler is Team Victor over here. Dutch, final thoughts for today?
Yeah, man, I like this card. I think the money goes down in Chi-Town, man. I think the Mavericks are the best player of the day. First half, full game. Anything with Luka the motherfucking Don and Kyrie's name on it, I co-sign. I like them an awful lot tonight. And it's not only do I think they're just a better team than Chicago, it's a horrible spot for the Chicago Bulls. So Dallas Mavericks is what it is. Grayson Allen, if you're looking for a prop from the 3-point line, I think he exploits the perimeter against Cleveland. And I like the Warriors, man. Definitely, not big on laying points, but I think this on the road with the Warriors too much. But this is a nice spot, I think. After San Antonio just went in there, got them by double digits. Right now, bounce back spot. These games are nice. We got to take advantage of a game where we see the same team playing the same team back to back like this. So no Steph. No motherfucking problem in San Antonio. Warriors come out and get that W. -4, 4.5. It's good money.
All right. Tyler, any final thoughts for today's slate?
no, I mean, I agree with Dutch. I think it's a good slate. I think we found some winners, locking the props, locking the couple sides we took. We'll have the debate about the Golden State and San Antonio game later on tonight. We'll see how that one goes between us. But outside of that, I mean, I think everything else is a winner.
Yeah, I mean, and Dutch, I gotta let everyone know we're gonna be buying steaks because I've seen your page before. No protein, no profit, and we're gonna be getting some fat in there as well with those big ribeyes we'll be able to afford after the Warriors get us home.
I dig that, my guy. Yeah, no protein, no profit. That's most definitely. Always nice to break it bread with you guys. Nice to see you again, Tyler. Spread, appreciate you reaching out.
Real quick, Dutch, I want you to let the people know. I'm sure most people are familiar, but if not, the multiple shows that you do and where they can find you and find more of this great information.
Before he plugs it, just because I know this will make you happy.
Okay.
You got a quarterback.
I do?
Yeah.
Who?
And you're looking at another one. You just signed Gardner Minshew, and they're inquiring about Fields.
I don't want Minshew.
It's better than the guys you had.
It's competition. I would take Minshew in Denver right now just out of competition. I wouldn't be like, oh, he's going to be my starter, but I'm all about competition. So
Dutch, I got to find this clip. Spread did a quarterback ranking show about week 12.
Mm-hmm.
I had Aiden O'Connell at 24.
Yeah, he had Aiden O'Connell like 24. I was like, you smoked some really good weed this morning to have this guy anywhere but 31st.
I think he was coming off like when he put like 35 points up against the Chargers. Remember he had like one good game last year?
Yeah, that's how I feel about Sam Howell, though. Like I said, and I still like him. I want Denver to go get him. But I'm not saying he's ready right now. but competition, man. You have him, like if I had him and Gardner Minshew go running it out there, I wouldn't be too upset, like compared to what I had in Denver, So only upswing.
Hey, we'll
But
take
yeah,
that. We'll take that guy in Denver over here, so we don't got to run Mr. Small Hands back out there next year.
you got Russ, right? In
Yeah, we got
Pittsburgh?
Russ.
Yeah, we'll see. Mike Tomlin seems to get the best out of players, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does better than he did in Denver. It'll be frustrating, but I honestly expect it. So we'll see. But yeah, man, the Sesh, Medicaid Mondays, Puff Sports Radio is the place to be. 11 a.m. Eastern time. We have a good motherfucking time, but most importantly, we make an awful lot of money on that show. The playback is a good vibe. You have a good time, laugh, get some knowledge on Strange of the Days, and most importantly, get a lot of knowledge on all sports. A lot of heavy hitters on there. The Pimp Slap, Mikey Money, Razor Sharp Picks, Wham Bam, LJ, and of course my guy Dabby Cab, who's just killing the college basketball right now. So check us out. All About the Hoops. Wednesday nights, my guys are coming to your vibe. We're doing All About the Hoops Sunday edition for the matinee on the NBA. So if you guys are free Sunday during the day, most definitely reach out to me. I'd love to have you guys on. We're literally just going live for the Sunday game, breaking it down, talking about the card, finding live bets, and just breaking bread, So that's 3:00 Eastern time, quarter till for the NBA games on Sunday. So I'd love to have you guys on if you're available, man. But check me out at Dutch Boy Fresh. It's all up, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, great. I'll have to reach out, and we're going to do that. Remember, this channel is Nuke the House, guys. Give us the thumbs up. Tyler and I are going to do a little underdog drafting on Fanspeak tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern on this channel with Punt School, hopefully. I know last week that fell through, but we're going to try and do that. And then we're going to get Dutch on again in a couple weeks. We had Wham last Monday. Maybe I'll get both of you guys next time. And just because the great chemistry between you two and two of my favorite guests to have on. So, Dutch, thank you for joining us. Everybody hit that thumbs up. We'll see you tomorrow. Nuke the house.